This Corey Heim kid is special.
Corey Heim across the line. The checkered flag is in the air.
Yeah, heck yeah. Finally got a Kansas fan.
Checkered flag is in the air. Across the line. Scoring the win. Corey Heim.
Oh, yeah! That's how you do it there, boys. Oh, yeah.
He does it. Corey Heim wins at Texas Motor Speedway.
Hey, it's Heim time again.
Golly, how fun was that? What a drive.
Well, it was right here in Kansas where Toyota discovered a young Corey Heim back in 2020 when he was competing in the ARCA Series. Now he is a 14-time winner in the Truck Series. Brad, let's dial him up.
Corey Heim, this is Brad Keselowski in the FS1 booth. You got a copy?
I got you, bro.
Sounding good, looking good. Boy, it feels good to be. It's got to be. I mean, you threw the first pitch for the game last night, Kansas City Royals. You won this race last year. You won last week. Tell us, what is it like to be Corey Heim right now? It looks pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly helps when you got a fast Safe Flight Toyota Charity Pro here. We've been so good on these intermediate racetracks, and obviously look to keep it going tonight here in Kansas, one of my favorite places. We've been raced out here in the past as well, so yeah, it definitely feels good to be in my seat right now with this program that we got here at Truck On Garage, but got to go and execute. That's the main thing.
Well, we wish you luck. Can't wait to watch. Have a great race.
Appreciate it.
Well, Michael, how about the guy who finished second to Corey Heim here in the fall, Lane Riggs?
Lane Riggs, it's Michael Waltrip and the Fox team. Do you copy, bud?
Yes, sir. Got you guys loud and clear.
Well, I love that Loves truck, as you know. You've got your work cut out for you starting outside the top 10, but this is a racy track. Will you go up high, down low, or wherever it takes?
I'm going wherever those boys aren't. It's a lot of back clean air at this racetrack. It's wide. We can run all over, and one of my personal favorites on the schedule. So great to be here in the Heartland. The Loves truck does look great. I know it's easy to spot from the stands and near their home quarters. So just, yeah, I'll also be here in Kansas. I know this is kind of a trade-off place for qualifying. Usually the guys that qualify really good or usually don't have quite as much downforce. So hopefully it'll play right into our hands.
All right, buddy. We're looking forward to watching. Have a great race.
Thank you, guys. Hopefully talk to y'all later.
I like his positive attitude and outlook for the night. Let's take a look now at the starting grid sponsored by Craftsman. Front row, Heim time starting outside, but it's Jake Garcia on the pole for the second time in 2 weeks.
Yeah, in row two, kind of an all-star lineup here. Last year's season champion, Majeski, with Cup regular Carson Hocevar. Both of these looking for a big night tonight.
Ben Rhodes is going to roll off fifth in row three. Ben had a challenging practice, but they got that thing tuned up for qualifying. He should be tough there. And you saw the confidence and what Rajah's been up to lately. He's going to be fun to watch firing off from the sixth position.
Let's take a look at the rest of the field. Caden Honeycutt, Michael, we talked about him. He won practice earlier. 45 truck is on it.
Yeah, he's going to be tough to beat tonight, too. He's one of those guys I wouldn't be surprised to see go up there and take care of business tonight. And then Tyler Ankrum got that win at Rockingham. So consistent all year long.
Yeah, I'm looking here at Luke Baldwin in row 12, son of Tommy Baldwin, famed NASCAR Cup Series crew chief, making his second start, had a great debut at Martinsville.
There's Tony Breidinger back on row 13. She's alongside Matt Crafton. And the always energetic Frankie Muniz. He's coming from the back. He had a really competitive run at Texas. See what he can do here in Kansas.
And that is our starting lineup. Let's say hello now to our pit reporters for the evening, Amanda Busick and Josh Sims. Good evening, Josh.
Well, good evening, Jamie. It's been a tough stretch for your defending champion, Majeski. Just one top 10 in the last 5 races. And you know what? Kansas hasn't been too good to him either. Just a best finish of 15th in the last 4 races here. I caught up with Ty earlier today, and he told me, look, our confidence is not shaken. What has taken a hit, that's our arsenal of trucks. He said the truck they have tonight is a brand new truck that was supposed to debut at Charlotte, but they had to expedite the process, get it ready for tonight. After practice, he said that truck is pretty good. Let's see if Majeski and this 98 team can get this to be a race-winning truck by the end of the night, Amanda.
Hey Josh, it was Connor Zilic that was originally supposed to compete in the 07 truck tonight, but as he continues to recover from home, William Byron got the call last Friday, and there was no hesitation out of the 2016 Rookie of the Year in the Craftsman Truck Series. He picked up 7 wins that season, including right here in Kansas, and told me that while that season is a distant memory for him now, that the Truck Series has good vibes. Well, he'll need to channel those good vibes tonight. As you said, Jamie, he will start from the rear. There was a hole in the radiator that has been replaced, but as you guys also discussed, if there was a place to happen, Kansas Speedway is not a bad place for a miscue to kick off this race tonight.
Thank you, Amanda. I like it. Good vibes here in the Truck Series. Let's now take a look at our track description sponsored by Craftsman. Michael?
Yeah, the Craftsman track description is going to consist of the track being 1.5 miles in length. We talk about how racy this place is. That variable banking in the corners lead to that, as you can see, from 17 to 20 degrees. Backstretch relatively flat. Some good banking through the tri-oval here in the front straightaway.
And on the Craftsman race analysis, length 134 laps. Here's the key part of this race to me. Stage 1, Stage 2, 30 laps. You can run both of these stages without pitting. You'll have to pit at the end probably of Stage 1. But the final stage, Michael, you're going to have to pit in that stage, and you are going to want 4 tires. The timing of how the crew chiefs manage this is going to be pivotal to who wins today.
Well, we saw a lot of fall off in the tires, you know, over 1.5 seconds in 15, 20 laps. So look for these guys to come at the end of Stage 1, get 4, into Stage 2, get 4. And then, like you said, Brad, figure out how long you want to run in that final stage before you hit pit road again.
Be very, very key to winning this race. Pit too early, get trapped under yellow, get a lap down, your whole day, your whole night can be ruined very quickly. But pit too late, run out of gas, any of those kinds of issues, you'll lose a lot of track position. Your race can get ruined really quickly that way too.
We have 2 onboards for tonight. The first is 18 of Tyler Ankrum, having a career season. Look forward to following along with him throughout the night.
And Brad, you get to do this thing, racing every week. I don't get to anymore. And these onboards, when we get on board and ride along with these guys, it is just so real.
Pretty cool.
It's
yes.
exactly what it feels like to be out there.
Yeah, you can see all them trucks in front of Daniel Hemrick right now. You know what he's thinking? Please don't crash in front of me on the first lap. Let's get a good start to this race.
Well, the pushing and shoving will start on lap 1, Jamie. I can promise you that.
Absolutely. Daniel
We're about
Hemrick
to find out.
starting back in 22nd. Meanwhile, up front, it's Jake Garcia on the inside. On the pole for tonight, Corey Heim to the outside. Side by side. Green flag is in the air, and we are racing at Kansas Speedway.
Big issue on the start. We saw the leader go below the white line, highly frowned upon. We're going to see if NASCAR jumps in for a call on that one.
Oh, look, 4 wide already, and it
See
was a
smoke?
squeeze play. Into the wall goes Ankrum. That was Majeski tied up in that mess.
Majeski not up to speed. Big battle still for the lead up front. We've got action all over.
We stay green, guys. Heck of a battle up front. Corey Heim on the outside. New leader. Jake Garcia settles into second, right behind him. The 71.
Tanner Gray going to make a bold move to the outside.
And Raja digging down low. That's Dawson Sutton smoking there in that 26 truck, squeezing up. And look at that, Majeski with a flat tire right off the bat. What a start we had.
Josh Sims was just talking about it being a brand new race truck. They expedited the process to make things turn around here. And right away, issues for Ty Majeski, our defending truck champion. Corey Heim out front, Jake Garcia, Raja Carew third, Tanner Gray, Carson Hocevar, the top 5.
Great battles all over the racetrack.
I think this start was a result of Jake Garcia.
Jake Garcia is going to get contact here from Ty Majeski. He's going to spin the tires, go down on the apron. You see everybody bobbing and weaving back and forth. And then we're going to get to turn 1, Michael, and Ty Majeski is going to get put 3 wide. And right here, contact with Carson Hocevar. That's what's going to cause his right front tire to go down.
And look at the 18 of Tyler Ankrum.
Oh, we got a spin on the racetrack.
Sutton was trying to bring it down pit road. He has issues. He goes around.
Flat left rear tire. The yellow is not out yet.
All right, fire back up, man.
Yellow's out. No yellow?
Here comes
Yellow
the
is out. First time tonight. 3 laps in for Dawson Sutton. He gets it spun back around, and he brings it down pit road.
Woo. Michael, this whole field is just catching their breath. We would just want 3 laps, and there was contact every corner, tires smoking, and
This whole booth is catching its breath, too, from that crazy start. And you know who that was a huge break for, Brad? Majeski. He only lost 1 lap, got a tire, got back on the track. He's going to get the free pass here.
He'll be back in this race.
So Corey Heim has now officially led in every race this year. There's the issue for the 26. Tries to hang on to it. Around he goes. We're under caution. Welcome back to Kansas Speedway, where we're under caution for the first time today, lap number 3. Now, it all began on lap number 1, a lot of contact here.
Well, I think Jake Garcia is holding back. Maybe going to get a little bit of a late start in the box to try to get an advantage. But you see right there, bam, into the back of Jake went Majeski, shoved him off the road. NASCAR said because he got back on the road and did not improve his position, they did not penalize him for that. But then, Brad, things get a little bit crazy.
Yes, we're going to see 3 wide. Ben Rhodes gets underneath Ty Majeski. Carson Hocevar turns down, and when he does, they make contact. Damage to the 7 on the left rear, damage to the 98 on the right front, damage to Tyler Ankrum in the wall in that 18. The 34 of Lane Riggs, he makes contact with Grant Enfinger. All these trucks are now damaged.
You know what I loved? I said we'd see 3, 4 wide. Well, we saw 5 wide in the first turn, and watch what happens to Ankrum. Shoved up by Dawson Sutton into that outside wall, but he was able to keep going.
And Dawson Sutton, he loses a tire, causes this yellow. You can see where that contact came from. There's a lot of tore up trucks on the first corner of the first lap here, Michael.
So Tyler Ankrum pitted from 20th. Carson Hocevar came in and pitted from 4th. So let's get an update on Majeski, Josh.
Yeah, well, you saw the issue at the start of the race with the 98, got back into the back of the 13th, caused some damage to that right front. The tire went down. He came into pit to get that fixed, but they didn't fix the damage, went back out, and the right front went down again. So he's actually going to have to come back in and pit to address that. They're going to do that with about 1 to go, Amanda.
Yeah, it was a conservation strategy for Brian Patty as he brought in Carson Hocevar. I got over here, he had his head looking to the sky in disbelief. That left rear on that truck was bent in and said, I just can't risk losing losing a tire in this race early on. We're going to need all of these tires considering of what's ahead in this race tonight.
Okay, so we're under caution because Dawson Sutton had gone around at the entrance to pit road. NASCAR is now holding him 2 laps for intentionally bringing out that caution.
Well, we haven't seen that penalty in quite some time. NASCAR does not want to interfere with the pace of the race. They obviously feel like he did, in spite of him having a flat tire. And this is a strong message to the field, not just today, but the fields that you'll see in the NASCAR Xfinity Series and in the NASCAR Cup Series. And what they're trying to say is, very intently here, we do not want to see you purposely cause yellows. Now, I'm not entirely sure, Jamie or Michael, if he did this on purpose, but NASCAR feels they did, and that's what matters.
Well, what could be the case, too, is, you know, they monitor the radios. If there was some communication that instructed him to do that, well, then they're definitely going to bring you in and penalize you. And you can see NASCAR's holding him now. And then what about this action? We got Ankrum on pit road. We got Majeski on pit road. We've had Hocevar there. Oh, by the way, we're only 7 laps into this baby.
Yes, a lot of tore up trucks here. All of them, I don't think any of them have critical damage, Michael, but all of them have enough damage to where they have tire rubs and different things going on that are going to affect the rest of their day. They've got this opportunity to fix it, and then they're taking advantage of that. Here you see with Ty Majeski working the baseball bat in between the fender, trying to get clearance so they don't lose another right front tire. Under yellow, like we were talking with Josh, he did pop a second tire. So when we go back green here, which we will, looks like this time by, they need to make sure that thing is not rubbing again.
I think they've taken a lot of time to do just what you said, Brad, and get a lot of clearance on that right front, bringing in another Goodyear Eagle there.
I just can't believe Ty Majeski's luck at this racetrack, Michael. We talked about it. He did earlier. He said, I know this is about my worst 1.5-mile track, but we're turning things around. And then lap number 1.
Well, we can put all this behind us, Brad. Something happens this early, you get back on the lead lap, you can overcome it.
You got a shot. Yeah. Yes, you got a shot. We'll have to see if Ty can dig out. He's still on pit road. It looks like he's going to lose that another lap, so that's going to be hard. But these guys are ready to go back racing.
NASCAR is holding Majeski for fueling twice, so he will be held 1 lap as the leaders make their way out of turn 4. Corey Heim, the control truck this time around. Raja Caruth on the outside of the front row. We're under green once again.
It was a more uniform situation on the start. Let's see if they can keep it clean in 1 and 2.
Fanning out up at the front. That's what we love about this track. 3-4 wide. Here comes Caden Honeycutt on the high side.
We talked about him being so fast in practice. He's showing that speed early. He's going to drive all the way up to the 3rd position.
Look at all that blocking. Bailey Curry said, Raja, you're not getting under me. Raja said, that's fine. I'll go up the middle. That 71 truck is doing just that. Strong turn for Raja Caruth.
Yeah, Raja started on the outside of the front row and fell back very quickly here. He's trying to regain those positions.
Grant Enfinger with a big move, up to 4th now.
Nice start for that 9 truck. We know how good he is here. He's won before, showing early that he's got the speed to do it again. Nice start, too, for Tanner Gray in that 15 truck. There's the guy we talked to, the 34 of Lane Riggs. Had a really solid practice. Felt like he had a good long-run truck. We'll see how that pays off.
I'll tell you, one guy that's shaking his head is Jake Garcia back there in 10th. Like, I started on the pole and everything just went chaotic. And
we've got an issue here with Luke Baldwin. Yes, he's got a right front tire flat.
He makes it down to pit road. We stay green.
You see him making contact up here off of the corner. This blue truck right here, that'll cut your tire down really quickly in this series, the way the fenders are built. And Caden Honeycutt, he is on a roll here. He's going to look for 2nd place. And Chandler Smith right on the inside there.
Good battle here for that 2nd spot. We know how fast Chandler's been all year long. And Caden Honeycutt has been a guy that we're watching too, knowing that he has everything it takes to go to victory lane. Since he showed up in the truck series, he's just been fast.
I agree. Super impressive. I've seen this guy make moves over the last season or so, sometimes in a limited opportunity. He's got a great full-time opportunity, and he's making the most of it.
Brad, what's that like when you feel like maybe you're a little bit faster, as Caden does against Chandler Smith here, but because you can run the wall and because you can run low, I mean, is that fun for you, knowing you have options?
It is. I think this is a really fun track for the drivers. You see the bottom lane, obviously a shorter distance. and you can make some time, but the top lane has the banking, and that little extra banking will carry a little more speed, and they're built to offset each other, and you're seeing that. Wow, some big side drafts here by the one truck of Brandon Jones.
This is the battle for 14th back here. Remember that 7 truck Carson Hocevar had come down pit lane. He's on the move forward.
Wow, strong
Carving
move
through the bottom
too. You see him right on that white line, got the job done there.
This race is so fast. Already just 17 laps to go in stage number 1. 30 laps here, 30 laps in the second stage, 74 laps will close us out in stage 3.
You see Grant Enfinger's already migrated up against the wall. Caden Honeycutt making his way up there as well into that 3rd lane. Kind of the cue the drivers look for is the seams on the pavement. And you know when you're above that seam, you're in the more banking zone. And so you'll see them run their left side tires quite often right on that seam because they want that little extra bit of banking, right?
See the biggest movers since the restart. Carson Hocevar up 9, Tyler Ankrum as well. Both drivers had damage in that lap 1 incident.
There's Ben Rhodes drafting up on the back of that 7 truck of Hocevar.
15 laps to go in stage number 1. Corey Heim with a 1-second lead over Chandler Smith. We'll step aside, but you won't miss a thing. Welcome back to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series live from Kansas Speedway. Well, nothing has changed up front. Corey Heim continues to lead, stretching that lead by 2/10. He's now led more laps at Kansas than any other track. Let's get an update from Josh.
And just an update on the 13 of Jake Garcia. Had that issue off the start of the race. Came over the radio and told the team, yeah, I'm on the splitter just a little bit. I don't have the grip I need in this truck right now, as he's dropped all the way back to 9th place. His team told him, hey, you got to fight through this. We'll get to the end of the stage. We'll address it. But don't fade when those tires fade. He's fighting to keep that truck where it is right now, guys.
Well, that's sure easy to say, crew chief. But when the handling goes away on this truck, and they do, you have a handful, and you're seeing that right now. I like what I'm seeing out of Daniel Hemrick. He looks really good right now, guys. He's running the top. He's had a couple of really good moves he's been able to make up there.
But here comes company, William Byron. We know he started out back because he races there alongside Giro Ruggiero. And there's Stuart Friesen with another strong truck. But Williams really using that high groove. Look at that momentum there he gains on the exit, and he's going to heat up that 19 of Hemrick here in the next lap or so.
I love William Byron's attitude. Got the call a week ago, and he said, yeah, put me in, coach. He said, I love the truck series. He said earlier in an interview, it brings back such great memories, Michael, when he ran here. I mean, that year he had the truck series rookie of the year. He got the win. He loves it. A little less pressure over here.
Well, Brad, you know this. Just getting to race anything in a competitive situation, it just makes your world. As racers, you just, oh no, we've seen a lot of trouble for this 66 truck, and there goes another.
Luke Baldwin in the wall. You hear it. Second caution of the race.
Another right front tire for that 66 truck, it appears.
Hate that for you. You know, you see a young driver getting their early starts, trying to learn the ropes, and just a tough day for Luke in that Mohawk Ford.
He did such a good job at Martinsville. He won practice, Brad. First time we've seen him, he was the fastest in practice, and he got bounced around a lot in the race, but he was very, very respectful the way he raced at that racetrack, and thought he did a great job. It's a shame to see this early have this many problems.
In front of the leaders here, it looks like. See if we can catch it in replay. See, kind of catch the tail end. Looks to me pretty clearly like he must have lost a tire to be in the wall so early in the corner, Michael.
Yes, sir. It's a shame. You live for these opportunities, and he had a good practice, and now just from the start he hadn't had a chance.
He has one more planned race with this team in the 66, hoping to get more. It's so hard for these rookies, Brad. We talk about it all the time, and it doesn't just stop here in the truck series. It's all across NASCAR. I mean, you jump in here, 100%. You get 25 minutes, first time you've ever seen that, and then you go racing.
And Jamie, for these young drivers, particularly those that have just a few starts, you know, it's so hard to get that first 5 or 10 starts in this series. I'm sure there's somebody listening back home who wants to be a race car driver, watching our race here with the Craftsman Truck Series and wanting to break through. And getting the first couple opportunities and making them count is you know, it's what you live for. And it's a heartbreaker when they don't go your way.
You know, Brad, I think this is an interesting caution too. We talk about running the end of stage 1. I don't think if you're our leaders, you're going to pit here because you want those stage wins or stage points. But, you know, if I'm outside the top 10, 15, I might come here, get 4 tires, make the adjustments that I need. And we're only going to have a couple of laps of racing when we go back green, then just hang in the back, chill out.
Yes.
And then grab that track position. It'll be interesting to see. The pit road was closed that time by. It'll be interesting to see if any of these trucks that are in the back will take advantage of that.
Yeah, absolutely, Michael. I look at somebody like Carson Hocevar or William Byron, some of those guys that really don't care about the points for the stages, and they're probably thinking to themselves, well, I'm not going to worry about that. Let's go ahead and get our tires, and we'll restart up front for stage 2.
And then the smart guys will run around about half throttle for 2 or 3 laps, so they get those tires will be fresh. Let's see if that happens.
So the pits are open, and just a reminder, they're very limited on tires. They had 1 brand new set to start the race. They have 3 sittings, so they have to use them wisely.
Very wisely.
And we've seen a lot of issues already. Cut tires, guys have come down and had to use a set. So who pits here and who decides to stay out?
Pit road is open. There is a safety truck on the entry, but these guys are going to make a difficult decision. And Corey Heim's leading the way.
They're all coming. They're coming your way, Josh.
How about that?
The 38 of Chandler Smith, saying his biggest issue is turn 3 right now, saying he lacks lateral security in that one, good in 1 and 2, so they'll make an adjustment to help him out for the 45. And Caden Honeycutt say he's struggling a lot when it comes to dirty air. He can get to the 38, but can't pass him. They're going to try and help him out as well, Amanda.
Yeah, Josh Grant Enfinger just pulled into his box. He told me that he felt about a 7 out of 10 on his truck today. They were okay in practice, but he told his team that we are better than we were in practice now. I have pretty neutral balance-wise, but I've lost overall grip as Grant gets out. And for Corey Heim, he said, I have more track time at any track right here in Kansas. He swept this place last year, Jamie, and as you said, he has led at every race this season, including now.
So far, so perfect for Corey Heim. You see Raja Karuth picking up 3 spots on pit road. Great job by that team. There it is. Corey Heim's team gets it done on pit road. Stage 2 coming up next. Welcome back to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. It's race number 9 on the season. 27 laps in, 107 laps to go this evening. And when we stepped aside, William Byron, we noticed in the 07 truck, this is on pit road. He came to a stop just at pit exit right there.
Definitely looks like the engine is stalled, Jamie, but Michael, I'm not sure we know what exactly happened to cause it to stall.
Yeah, and he gets it cranked back up and drives off, which is also a little confusing, maybe. Comes the team.
You see smoke coming out of the...
Yeah.
And there he goes.
So he will restart back in 22nd.
Well, Brad, I'm glad as a NASCAR Cup veteran, champion, and a guy that has seen all the strategy twists and turns around these stages in the world, we both agree. I didn't know everybody was going to pit.
I did not think everybody was going to pit here. No, I didn't see that coming. It looks like they're going to go back to green here with 2 laps to go. So this is it's interesting. I think they might have all just followed whatever Corey Heim did.
I think if Corey Heim had taken a left, I was going to take a right.
Yes,
let's get him trapped somewhere.
I think the field's thinking the opposite, though. Whatever that guy's doing, it's working. So let's stay with him. And they're right. Corey Heim has been great tonight, been great all season, and he's going to see if he can't get him another stage win here in just a second.
So here we go. The leaders get to the line. We'll have 2 laps remaining in stage number 1.
Oh,
a little sideways.
Big tire spin there for Raja on the outside. He was able to keep pace with the 11 truck, though.
Caden Honeycutt giving a big push. That's going to end with the middle.
Grant Enfinger with a big look to the inside in the 9.
Nice corner by Caden Honeycutt in that.
Oh, and he's still middle of 3 wide.
Look at this. Restarts are so awesome. Look at this.
What a battle.
4 wide.
Oh, they just all barely get into the corner. Caden Honeycutt went from looking like he was going to maybe take the lead, at least second, to sort back here to 6th or 7th position.
Oh, contact there off the corner. Smoke rolling off somebody.
1 lap to go in stage number 1.
Carson Hocevar with a huge block on Caden Honeycutt.
Corey Heim is there, but gosh, Raja Caruth in the 71 not giving up. Look at Grant Enfinger in the 9.
Lane Riggs with a nice run down the bottom of the back straightaway.
All this, Corey Heim's looking in his mirror saying, thank you, I will take this stage win, guys.
Corey Heim, 29 laps led so far tonight. He picks up stage number 1. It's his 4th stage win at Kansas and his 6th of 2025. That's the most of all drivers. Brad, we told you in the beginning, you're going to hear a lot about Heim time. So far, he's the man to beat.
Not disappointing.
In just 2 weeks, the greatest spectacle in racing is coming to Fox, the 109th Indianapolis 500. That's Sunday, May 25th, only on Fox. You see Joseph Newgarden, two-time winner, going for 3 straight. Alex Palou on the left just won the Indy Grand Prix a couple of hours ago. I'll be back on pit road. Excited about that. It's been 11 years since I've done it. So
congratulations, Jamie. That's a big day in motorsports, and I'm glad you're going to be there, and Fox is going to be there.
Yeah.
So exciting.
It'll be fun. We start practice on Tuesday. But meanwhile, stage 1 points, Corey Heim maximizing it there, taking home 10 points, all the way down to Bailey Curry picking up a point.
Yeah, I was impressed with Grant Enfinger. I think he has more speed in that truck than we saw in practice today. And you know, you talked about it earlier, Brad, how things are going to change. The temperatures are going to go down. Already full shade in turn 4. That'll just continue to make this track evolve. More grip, faster speeds, it's all ahead.
Yeah, full shade turn 4 and 1 and 2 is kind of half shade. It's just going to continue to come in. So I think you're going to see the handling issues be more in turn 1 and 2 until it gets full shade as well.
Several takers on pit road, but none of our front runners.
A lot of talk about that man, Corey Heim. He leads here. When we come back, we'll kick off stage number 2. Can he hang on for win number 4? Welcome back to a beautiful night in Kansas Speedway. Craftsman Truck Series racing. We have the Cup Series tomorrow. We've got Brad Keselowski joining us here in the booth and Michael Waltrip. There's been a lot of action so far, gentlemen, and we just found some more contact, and this was coming to the last lap of stage 1.
Our replay booth, by the way, has just been every commercial period finding action everywhere because there's so much we can't cover it all. And here, Michael, you see big contact. Stuart Friesen, Gio Ruggiero, Connor Mozak. Whoa.
That was so close to a major pileup because I don't think Friesen knew they were 3 wide. You could see with the squeeze play there. And then Frankie Muniz come to pit road. He lost one of his tires. There you see it go out in the middle of nowhere.
Really
they don't even notice it. Oh, whoops, lost it.
Yeah, that's really lost.
Man, Stewart was really fortunate there that they He must have just felt that he needed to pull her just a little bit more left and was able to keep that truck from crashing. That was amazing.
Would have been a big wreck.
Ugh.
But yeah, we said before this race started, guys, that this was going to be one of the most action-packed races of the year, and I believe that. But man, wow, there has not been a break in this race yet where you could just. Whew.
And it was the same thing last week at Texas. Just crazy racing from the green flag to the checkered.
Even under the yellow flags, we have action with tires falling off. And
well, we had gone 21 straight races without an overtime last week. We saw everything, including a double overtime. I think it was as long as a cup race last week.
Well, stay tuned. We still have a lot of racing left to go. Just 98 laps left in the race, but I don't know how we can keep up with all this action, but we're going to try real hard.
It's been a lot of fun. There's been 2 lap leaders tonight. Officially, Corey Heim has led 34. Frankie Muniz scored with 1 lap led. Pace car is off. Corey Heim, Raja Caruth once again on the front row. Nice, even restart once again.
Carson Hocevar is going to jump the top of his teammate, Raja Caruth, and the bottom lane is going to just eat them up.
There's
4 wide into turn 1.
So that's the risk of the outside lane. You saw Carson Hocevar jump Raja Caruth, and look at all the positions they both lost from it. Raja is going way back right now.
So Chandler Smith picks up the 2nd spot. Look at Lane Riggs on the bottom.
Those are 2 really stout Fords. We've watched them be players week in and week out, and they're going to be players again here tonight.
Michael, you talked to Lane Riggs on the radio before the start of this race. He came up 1 spot short here in the fall to Corey Heim. He's on a mission.
There's that bright yellow truck up on the outside of Grant Enfinger, too. He's got a lot of speed. So he's going to give Carson Hocevar a shove down the back straightaway.
Yeah, both of these front row trucks are looking really good. 2nd and 5th with Smith and Riggs.
Fast Fords. Here comes William Byron after another trip to the back of this field. See if he can't fight his way back up through.
Look at this battle for 15th. I mean, this is what we see in the Truck Series week in and week out. Battles front to back.
Daniel Hemrick got some speed in that 19 truck. As you see Raja down low, Hemrick up high.
Yeah, I got a feel for Raja right now. I have a feeling that if we got an honest reaction from Raja, he is highly disappointed in that restart. Had a teammate behind him who took him 3 wide, and they both lost a lot of track position right there.
Well, I also bet you if Raja looked in the mirror and saw which teammate it was, he would say, he's probably going to take me 3 wide.
Yes. But in fairness to Carson Hocevar, he has climbed back out, and I mean climbed back out fast. I think he looks like the biggest threat to Corey Heim in this race. He's driving back up to 2nd place after losing all those spots on the restart. We saw the issues he had at the start of the race. He's got good pace here. Corey Heim, this is the guy I'm racing as it looks right now.
Josh?
Guys, just an update on the 71 of Raja Caruth. During that first run, he talked about struggling in 3 and 4, so the truck was just too loose to do what he wanted to. They made an adjustment during that last stop to help him out. But when I talked to Bono Mannion earlier today, we hear this from so many drivers in this series. He said the bar is Corey Heim. A good night for them would be beating Corey Heim at the end, no matter where he finishes. He was running behind him at the start of this stage, but he's fallen back right now, struggling to get back to where he was, guys.
Great battle, though. Raja Caruth was trying to get a 2-for-1 with Lane Riggs and Grant Enfinger, but he thought twice about it.
Guys, don't look now, but the last 2 laps, Carson Hocevar has been about a 10th faster than Corey Heim.
And the fastest truck on the track by that much.
He's running that high groove, both ends. He's closed in about 2 or 3 car lengths from our race leader, Corey Heim.
That's a talented racer in that 7 truck, isn't it? Carson Hocevar has a lot of speed no matter what he gets behind the wheel of. And this is a big challenge for Corey Heim right here.
Amanda, what are you hearing on Corey Heim?
Yeah, well, you see Carson Hocevar right behind him after that left rear damage early in the race. He's right there to battle with Corey Heim, guys. They had many battles, but Carson was racing full time in the Truck Series as Carson is trying to take the lead here. But I talked to him about those battles with Corey Heim. Lead change is as they battle it out here. Jamie, take this. I'll finish my story.
Yes, it's a great battle. Amanda, thank you.
Oh, he's sideways.
Sideways, you see Carson Hocevar working that wheel, trying to take the lead, can't get it done yet.
So that was a big series of moves. If you go back a lap ago, Carson Hocevar got a great run down the front stretch, used it to pull up alongside of Corey Heim and wanted to side draft him down the backstretch, and he knew he had to clear him in 3 and 4. Just couldn't quite get there. Allowed himself a little bit of side draft from the 11, and he was holding on.
Me and Jamie think it should be required. You racers have to wear white gloves. Watch these the hands in that 7 truck whipping that wheel around, trying to hang on to her.
And here you see the backside of that series of moves where he's forced, because he couldn't quite clear Corey Heim, to run the bottom, Michael. And when you have a truck outside of you stealing that little bit of side force, you really got to hold on, and you see what happens there.
Carson Hocevar, so much speed. We talked about it earlier, Michael, in the practice show. And, you know, we were saying it's a lot easier to have to rein somebody in than kick them in the butt. And I feel like that is Carson Hocevar. Let's listen to what they're saying.
We're good. He knows we're better than him. He's worried about us. Just another driver right there. Set him up here again. We'll drive by.
Back to the bull. It gets the horn.
Ooh.
Spotter communication there with Carson, talking back and forth about what happened there.
So what he's saying, mess with the bull, get the horns. What he's saying is he knows Corey Heim was right on his door. And Corey Heim knows that being right on his door is going to make him loose. And he's saying, hey, I didn't really appreciate that. I let you have a little bit right there. I probably won't the next time.
And you see the result of that. Carson gets his tires a little bit heated up in the rear end, and Corey's able to drive away.
Amanda, let's hear the rest of your story on our leader.
Oh, yeah, and as I was saying, Carson Hocevar was talking about those battles with Corey Heim, maybe none more famously than that 2023 championship fight between Corey Heim and Carson Hocevar. Talked to Carson about that a little, and he said, hey, I can't wait to race Corey Heim in the future for championships on Sunday. Well, I told that story to Corey Heim as well, and before I could even finish, he cut me off. He said, I hate that guy. He cost me my championship in 2023. Safe to say, there is no love lost between these two. He said that Carson has never even apologized.
Oh, wow.
That was a rough night.
It was. It was an ugly night.
What do the kids call that, a beef? I think that would be a beef.
Yeah.
I can't keep up with the kids these days and how they describe things.
Yes.
I can't even keep up with Kevin Harvick and some of the words he throws in there.
But you see a lot of battles still all over the racetrack. Tyler Gray, Daniel Hemrick here battling for 7th. Looks like Gray's going to clear him.
Yeah, Tanner's been fast today, running 7th right now, but up front it's all Corey Heim, about 8/10 of a lead over Carson Hocevar. 86 laps to go at Kansas. Respect for that man right there, Evel Knievel. We welcome you back, and we're under caution for the 4th time. This is why the 2 truck of Cody Dennison came by the front stretch, off the pace a bit.
Looked like he had a tire going down, and it got away from him. Swung around down into the grass, as you see there.
This is a wild ride to take down into the turn 1 grass.
It'll get your attention, won't it?
Yep, going 100+ mile an hour. That's a yeehaw moment, I believe is what you'd call that.
The pits are open. I'm not going to call the fact that they're all going to pit or not going to pit, because they surprised me last time.
Me too. But you know what? Judging by the amount of tires and pit crews up on pit wall, I think they're going to pit here, guys. But what this will really do is force the strategy in stage 3, because these guys will only have 1 set of tires left, and they're pitting early to start stage 3. As you see Corey Heim coming to pit road and leading the charge.
All right.
8 laps ready in stage 2. They're coming your way, Josh.
Well, for the 38 of Chandler Smith, said that truck is still just too tight. He needs more front turn to get it to drive the way he wants it. And for the 34 of Lane Riggs, having trouble through center and exit, saying it gets too tight. He can manage the entry, but he needs help getting off the corners. Amanda?
Yeah, Josh, I guess we could call it a triple that Carson Hocevar is doing this weekend. He was on the ARCA broadcast with us last night, racing in the truck race. We'll race in the Cup race tomorrow. Said he likes to get as much time as he can on this track, as you see him take those tires in that 7. And for Corey Heim, they will race each other again tomorrow as Corey Heim returns to the Cup Series, racing for 2311. Looked like there was a bit of a holdup on the right rear. We'll chase that down, guys.
Yeah, long pit stop for Corey Heim. Gives up a lot of track position, and here he comes just now exiting.
Wow. Tough pit stop for that team. Looked like Carson Hocevar got off pit road first.
And that will change the dynamics of this race. Corey Heim's been good, but he has not been faster than Carson Hocevar, so he's going to have to switch gears from playing defense to playing offense.
This isn't something we normally see from this pit crew.
Yeah, Jamie, you said how solid they've been. You can see there's a problem on the left rear. He needs a gun.
Like the pit gun broke. You see, I think it's that a socket fell off. You could see it rolling on the ground. Yep.
Had to get the guy from the front to come back and finish things up, and that's 10 spots right there at least.
To go back and see that replay again, but it looked like the gun broke. Maybe the socket broke off of it.
But that's great for teamwork. When you see each other, they're motioning, they help each other out. Gave up a lot of track position there for the man who has dominated this race. And we welcome you inside the booth. Brad Keselowski, we always talk about, you always talk about the Checkered Flag Foundation and all that you guys do. I've been able to be part of a couple of your events, and you guys give canines away to veterans. Now you have something else coming up. Tell us about
we have another huge event. You know, Charlotte Race Weeks are coming. Great time for race fans to come to Charlotte between the North Wilkesboro All-Star Race and the Charlotte Coca-Cola 600. 2 of the biggest weeks in racing. If you're a fan of stock cars, all the series will be there. And for us and a lot of people in the sport, we have all of our charity events. Mine's going to be coming up May 22nd. We've got all the great guys. Tim Duggar. We love some Tim Duggar. All-star comedian John Christ, Aaron Weber. Find tickets on sale right now. All goes to a great cause, supporting our veterans, those who have served and who have come back injured. And so we hope that our fans watching will come to Charlotte for race weeks and maybe come see our foundation event, all to enjoy racing and everything that makes NASCAR special.
That's right. It's a hero's homecoming. And Brad, we appreciate all that you do for veterans, for their families. You've always been that patriotic guy. So go online right now, get those tickets.
Yeah, if you're coming for Charlotte Race Weekend, this is going to be a must-see event.
Yes, it's Thursday night, I believe, before the Coke 600.
Great country music with Duggar and comedy. That's going to be a fun night.
We'll give away some canines to several veterans who are disabled, so we're looking forward to helping them out as well.
Special evening.
Well, we're going to get ready for another wild restart. 4. We even saw 5 wide there once. What will go down here?
Well, this is going to be a 5-lap restart, right? For the end of the stage. And I think of that and say, okay, the last time we had a 2-lap restart, we about all wrecked off of turn 4. But no Corey Heim leading for the first time today. It's going to be Carson Hocevar leading the charge.
That's right. Corey Heim back in 16th. Green flag. First time that the 7 truck will be the control truck. You see Tanner Gray right behind him.
Great push by Tanner Gray, but look at the speed on the outside.
All right, big difference in this restart. The outside lane stayed together. They didn't go 3 wide, and because of that, that's going to give Grant Infinger a great chance to clear for the lead down the backstretch.
Man, those pushes are wild, aren't they, Brad? Look at those guys.
Yeah, Tanner Gray giving a big, big push, but it's not enough to clear it. Oh, Raja!
Raja, keep it off the wall. So far he does. Slips back, he loses about 7 spots there.
And Enfinger's going to clear it to the lead while all this is going on with 4 laps left in the stage.
We talked earlier about the speed of that 9 truck. He's got that thing out in the lead, and here comes Lane Riggs down on the bottom in that Ford. He's been so fast every week all year long. Raja almost bought the farm here down in 3 and 4.
Yeah, here's quick replays in the middle lane. You're going to see the 15 truck of Tanner Gray slide up, and he's got to compensate for that big save.
You don't get much closer to wrecking than that. And look at this. Lane Riggs all over the back of Carson Hocevar. Grant Enfinger down off the road trying to break the draft.
So Carson Hocevar slid up in front of Lane Riggs, and Lane Riggs was pushing him and helping him and maybe saying he was angry with him at the same time.
He was angry for sure because of the big block, but he shoved him right into the lead because of that.
And here comes Enfinger with a big charge back at him.
This is a
what a battle up front.
Important win of the stage it could be for Grant Enfinger. Carson doesn't, all he wants to do is lead every lap he can. Grant's going to try to get this victory in the stage 2. And he's got a fast truck. Look at him go. That's just some experience driving there by Hocevar, though, wasn't it? He saw the 9 truck coming, just moved right up and took his lane away.
Out of his mirror and made a good move. Let's see if Lane Riggs can make a charge here at Carson now.
Guys, one guy that's been up in the top 5 that's not there right now is Chandler Smith. He had an equipment interference penalty. He was 3rd before stop, so he slipped back, started around the 19th spot. And it's the final lap of stage number 2 here at Kansas Speedway. What a battle up front, so close. Carson Hocevar trying to hang on to it. A lap truck in front of them. Lane Riggs is there.
Wasn't Lane Riggs mad at him a minute ago?
Yes, I think he wants this stage win.
Think he can get to him and show him his displeasure?
Carson's just here for the wins. Lane is here for the points. How hard will he push the issue? Off turn 4, not enough. Carson Hocevar picks up stage number 2. Carson Hocevar in his 2nd Truck Series start this season picks up stage number 2. Lane Riggs 2nd, Grant Enfinger, William Byron, and Daniel Hemrick, your top 5.
Tomorrow, the Cup Series whips through Kansas at 3 p.m. Eastern on FS1. And next week, it's a race for $1 million in the All-Star Race at North Wilkesboro Speedway.
Carson Hocevar with the Stage 2 win. And Michael, Jamie, let's go back and look at how he won the stage. Here he is third, coming to about 4 to go in the stage. And he's going to pull this big slide job right in between the leaders of Lane Riggs and Grant Enfinger. Look at what Lane Riggs is going to do. He's going to give him this huge push down the front stretch. He's going to gain a ton of speed. Look at this slip move he's going to do on Grant Enfinger.
Right to the bottom. Just a great move by Hocevar. You don't know if Lane Riggs thought that's the best way for me to push ahead as well, or if he was kind of mad for getting squeezed like that. But anyway, it was very, very prosperous result for that 7 truck. Got to get the stage win.
Big move. I think we might have some audio on the 34. Let's hear what he thought about that.
Cup guys sure know how to use the rear mirror. Good gracious. We'll beat him with speed after a few laps, so we'll be fine here. Just keep staying in the game.
Did he call him a Cup guy?
He sure did. And he's right. The big part of driving the Cup cars is driving out of the mirror and knowing how to block the lanes, use the runs to your advantage. And Carson Hocevar did a great job right there of making that work.
And I think Lane Riggs took that well, too. You know, he said that's just part of what it is. He used his mirror. He grabbed that spot. But that was a very, very nice move by Hocevar to get in that little hole.
It was a smart move.
So there's Corey Heim. He restarted about 19th. He's up to 12th. Gave up about 14 spots on pit road. They had that trouble with the gun on the left rear. And prior to that stop, he'd only lost 1 spot on pit road all year.
I like this
good
test. This is a test to Corey Heim. We've seen Corey Heim and this team. They have the fastest trucks outside of this last pit stop. They have one of the best pit crews. And the racing has been, well, I'll call it as I see it. It's been pretty easy for Corey. He hasn't had a lot. Every once in a while he gets run into and different things happen, but he's had a really, really fast truck. Now he's going to get a challenge that I don't know if we've seen out of him this year, to where he's got equal tires, equal standing, and he's going to have to drive his way through and go win this race. I love it. I think this is a big test for Corey as he's maturing, as he's in great equipment, and as he's trying to prove himself as a Sunday race car driver. I can't wait to see him in the third stage.
And it's a big bonus for us to get to watch.
Yes.
Right. And by the way, he is a Sunday racer this weekend. Amanda?
Yeah, well, it was a long decision just now. Corey Heim was going to stay out or come into pit. He is staying out in the decision by Scott Zipadelli, but I have Ryan Zunk, the rear tire changer for Corey Heim. I see a broken gun there on the ground. What happened?
Yeah, during our last stop there, left rear going on, the gun broke. So we reacted quickly enough to where my front changer filled in for me and tightened it up and got us out there. So that's not a normal thing that breaks, but you always got to react to it.
Thank you, Ryan. And I do want to say, Brad, as you were talking about the challenge ahead for Corey Heim, he came on the radio after that stop and said, "Don't worry, guys, I got this."
And so here you can see it actually broke the tip off of the gun, and the socket came with it. So you can see the socket laying on the ground next to it. They're supposed to be connected, those two pieces, Michael. I think you probably know that, but for some of the fans at home wondering what we're looking at here.
I'll tell you, that was great attitudes all around. Race-winning attitudes. We'll see if they can make their way forward. 70 laps to go. Carson Hocevar leads. Friday night, we're under the lights in prime time as the Memphis Showboats take on the San Antonio Brahmas. It's Fox UFL Friday. That kicks off at 8 Eastern. Watched some of the game last night. Love to see my girl, Jenny Taft. How about this kid living his best life, just mowing down this barbecue rib? But look at his little sticker there, Brad.
I love truck racing too, buddy.
Yeah.
And some ribs in Kansas City.
I love ribs. Is what his sticker says on his back.
This is every boy's dream. You know what? I'm a grown-up in that section of my dream. Eating ribs and watching a truck race on a Saturday night in Kansas.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is, and we welcome you back to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. So it'll be 67 laps to go at the line. Carson Hocevar picked up stage number 2, took the win there. Lane Riggs, Grant Enfinger, William Byron up to 4th, the highest we've seen him here tonight. And Daniel Hemrick round out the top 5. More shade on the track. You guys have been talking about turn 1 is completely shaded. All of turn 4, part of turn 3, so things are continuing.
Pace is going to keep picking up, but now these drivers are on older tires. So they got 5 laps on these tires. Look out for the wheel spin on these restarts, and what I'm really watching is the outside row. Will they stick together?
Here we go. Carson Hocevar, Lane Riggs in the outside.
Lane with a great start. No help from behind, though.
Looked like William Byron might have spun those tires.
Williams says, I got to go high.
And that's going to give Carson Hocevar the lead. Oh, big moment for Daniel Hemrick.
That was so close.
Big wiggle. He hangs on to it.
And they came off the corner 4 wide again. Watch them scramble down the back straightaway. That's Corey Heim.
Making moves underneath Daniel Hemrick, and now Tyler Ankrum.
Caden Honeycutt up top in the 46, hanging in there. Brad, I think you're going to be impressed with what you see over the next 20, 30 laps with that 11 truck.
Corey Heim up to 6th, slips back to 7th there.
You better call them quickly, Jamie. These guys are moving all over the place.
There's action everywhere, but meanwhile, Carson Hocevar has set sail out front. Byron up to 3rd. Lane Riggs has slipped back to 4th.
Byron hasn't been quite as fast as Carson Hocevar, but he's been a little more measured in the moves he's making. He's now a threat to win the race, established in the top 3.
You know, he started in the back, and he had to go to the back because his truck stalled, and yet he's fought to the front. What's going on here?
Bailey Curry looks like slow down the front stretch.
See if he can get that thing back to the pits.
Appears he's back up to speed off of turn 2 as we have Corey Heim and Daniel Hemrick still battling here.
Battle for 8th. This was the finish last week right here, the 11 and the 19, 1-2 at Texas.
Boy, what a battle that was, too. Those race trucks, wow. Hope we have another epic finish like that here tonight. It's looking like we might.
Nice run for Brandon Jones in that one truck.
Corey Heim's going to try to make a pass on him on the bottom of 1 and 2. It just barely clears him off of turn 2.
Now he'll go after that 18 of Ankrum.
5th truck start.
Look at that.
Year for Brandon Jones. No top 10s for him as Corey Heim is on the move. And he does it.
You know, we joke about it being Heim time, and you know, obviously the rhyme is a lot of fun, but he's showing it. I mean, the guy makes great moves. He doesn't really appear to have a big weakness in any of his game. And he had a little bit of misfortune on pit road. He's recovering very nicely here.
Well, we heard the report. He got on the radio and said, don't worry, guys. We'll get it back.
I got this. And I could not agree more. This front 5 are not driving away from Heim as he's continuing to march toward them.
So we're setting ourselves up here, Michael, for a really long run. The field is just starting to kind of get organized. Now the guys have, all these guys and gals out here have tires that are a little bit older, and they're going to have to make some really critical decisions on pit road as this run progresses, and on the racetrack with how you drive your truck. Drive it a little bit too hard early in the run, you're going to have to pit early. You're not going to be able to go that full length. You might put yourself in jeopardy. It's really interesting to see how this whole run is going to play out here. It probably, the way you drive your truck and the crew chief calls the pit stop here is going to dictate our race winner.
Well, about lap 95, Brad, last year in this race, that's when the green flag pit stop started. So in about 25 laps from now, between lap 95 and 105 is when they decided to make that stop. We'll see if that's the case again here tonight.
One set of tires remain. When do you come down and put those on?
Yeah, missed the timing on that, and you have no chance to win this race. But one of the things I like that I'm seeing is Lane Riggs. His truck, to me, if he can take care of it, has had the pace to run with Carson Hocevar on these really long runs.
You can see he's better right now than Grant. It looks like he's just searching for a way to get around him, and when he makes that move.
And he needs to find a way, Michael, to get ahead of Grant Enfinger without using his tires up so he can still persevere on a long run.
That's a delicate balance there to do, too, isn't it? He knows he needs to get rid of the 9 truck and get on his way after Hocevar, but he also knows he needs to be taking care of those tires.
So we see Corey Heim now move into the top 5 as well, passing Caden Honeycutt for 5th place.
Wasting no time at all as he works his way to try to get around the 07 of William Byron. By the way, Connor Zilich was supposed to be in that truck. He injured his back at Talladega in the Xfinity Series, so we're wishing him a speedy recovery. They're expecting him back here and for the next Xfinity race. So William Byron got the call, and here he is now running 5th as Caden Honeycutt trying to get around him to pick up the spot.
Last couple of laps, I'm not going to break any breaking news, but Corey Heim's been the fastest truck on the track.
He looks pretty good, doesn't he, Michael? I was a little bit surprised here by William Byron. He had established himself in the top 3, and he's starting to fade a little bit here. I thought that truck, that might be his breakthrough moment in the race.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. He just doesn't have the pace that he needs to run with them. He got the track position after a long couple of stages, but then he couldn't hang on to it.
4 top 10s this year for Caden Honeycutt in that 45 truck. Looking for his first top 5 of the season, and that's where he's running right now.
These trucks are so evenly matched inside the top 5. Heim just a little bit quicker than the others, but still some really solid lap times being put down here by our leader.
Carson Hocevar, our leader, he did all of his racing in the truck series for Nice Motorsports. We were just talking about Caden Honeycutt, but now he's here driving the 7 truck. Brian Patty is the crew chief for Spire Motorsports.
There you see the margin of distance between first and second. Grant Enfinger right against the outside wall, as is Hocevar.
Yeah, I really feel like if Lane Riggs could get by Grant Enfinger, he could run up to Hocevar. Hasn't quite been able to clear him. So now you see the Highline's becoming more and more dominant, particularly as the tires are falling off. You need that banking to get around these corners. Give you that extra little bit of grip when the tires are wearing. Look at all the rubber that the track is taking. You can see all the marks on it.
.54 laps to go when Carson Hocevar crosses the start-finish line. He leads over Grant Enfinger from Kansas. And we welcome you back to Kansas Speedway. And you know, the 38 truck at Chandler Smith, he was running top 5 for pretty much the first half of this race. Then they came down pit road. Here is what happened.
What I want you to look at is the right front tire. They're going to roll it around the truck. And when they do, it has to stay in their box. It's not in their box. It's in the 42 team's box. And this is called pit crew interference. And the penalty for that is you restart in the back.
Yeah.
Can't interfere with another team.
And he was not too happy about this.
Nothing right on pit road. Clean that up before I get back on pit road, please. We got a race to win. We ain't gonna win. Keep on having pit stops like that, boys. You're better than that.
And those teams are better than that, you know, but this is such an intense 15 seconds that they have on pit road. And anything, Josh, it's just, you marvel at what goes right, and every now and then something goes wrong.
And it's been an up and down day for Chandler Smith. During practice, he felt like he had a great truck, and then they fired off pretty loose to start the race. They made an adjustment, and he said the truck got much better, but then the penalty happened, and then he came over the radio a few minutes ago and said, I have no front turn. This truck is not where it needs to be, as he's fighting his way to stay in the top 10. But we know Chandler Smith is a guy that's been so good this season. The team felt like they were really clicking going into this race, but he did talk to me about pit road being an issue the last 2 weeks, and it reared its head once again today.
So he's got that frustration building from last week. So after the penalty, he restarted 22nd. He's already up to 10th. And I know the truck isn't perfect. It's not to his liking, but certainly going in the right direction.
Yeah, moving forward. But, you know, you dig a hole in these races, it's really hard to dig back out of it, you know.
You're talking about digging, though. Grant Enfinger, the last few laps, has outrun and closed in.
Big moment down the backstretch here. Enfinger with the run on Hocevar. Oh, he almost put it right in the middle of the lap truck.
So close.
Spencer Boyd and Carson Hocevar, but he's going to have another run right here.
That number 9 truck has been way faster the last few laps than Hocevar, but now he's there, Brad. Aero blocking becomes part of the game. Can Carson hold off Grant?
All this started with the sequence with the lap truck of Spencer Boyd. Carson Hocevar just couldn't quite clear him. Lost his momentum off of turn 2.
Man,
now he's trying to run away from Grant Enfinger here.
That battle for the lead that we saw there is allowed Lane Riggs and Corey Heim to close in as well. Could have a 4-truck battle for the lead here. Look at that. Riggs is there. Heim's not quite the pace that we saw earlier in the race. You talked about burning your tires off.
Yep.
You know, he had to come from a hole. Do you think that could be part of it?
Absolutely.
Gotta run.
He's made these runs on the bottom of the racetrack to make passes, and that's going to be hard on your tires. So, oh, you see Carson Hocevar, he's loose. He's
working that wheel. Look at him go.
You know he's loose when he just saw his hand. He just wiped the sweat off his temple like, whoo, this is a lot of work up here.
Those are those white gloves.
Yes, you could really see it in that shot. Wow, look at his hands. Really working the steering wheel. And here comes Lane Riggs.
That's a talented racer right there, hanging onto that thing, leading the race.
A run now from Grant Enfinger. He's back to the rear bumper.
He knows what Carson Hocevar is dealing with. Takes a look to the inside. Can he make it stick here?
That little bit of banking on the exit of turn 2. You see how it adds up right there.
Lane Riggs.
He was right next to that wall, maybe just skimming along it.
You can see a little bit of marks on the right side and up against the wall.
Few kisses for sure.
Oh, he slides up the hill. Here comes Grant back under him.
Oh, contact again. This time between the 9 and the 34.
Battle for second. Just inches apart at moments. Meanwhile, Carson Hocevar setting sail again.
He said, thank y'all. Thank you so much for doing that. You saw how hard he was working trying to hold off the 9 truck. But here comes Lane Riggs.
Lane Riggs has been waiting for this moment. Here you're going to see off of turn 2 that last lap, how close he gets to that wall. Just, oh, wow. I think he brushed it. Can't quite tell. You see the tire marks off the back of the truck.
And watch Lane trying to see if, or trying to clear himself, wouldn't you say?
Yes, and Enfinger gives him a little bit of a break here. He could have been a big wreck.
Look at that 34 truck right up against that outside wall. I talked about the pit window opening up around lap 95. I think we got our first takers.
Yeah, it looks like Chandler Smith's on pit road.
Chandler's down there getting 4 tires. This is his final scheduled stop. This is about what we expected to happen.
You said lap 95, and here they are.
They had the tire in control there. Looks like some adjustments. Try to get that truck fixed up with 40 laps to go here.
And
Jack Wood on pit road as well.
Now you got to remember what Corey Heim was able to do. He charged himself into contention. You talked about he could have wore his tires out. So now he's going to try to get on level ground with the tires and with his track position. So we'll see when Corey Heim comes in as compared to Carson Hocevar and Lane Riggs.
Here it looks like Lane Riggs might be pitting this time.
As is Grant Enfinger.
So Carson Hocevar will wait at least
Raja Caruth on
another lap.
Corey Heim's in. Now he's going to have same tires, same track position as the guys he's racing. Can Corey Heim use that to go win this race?
And they all pitted earlier than Carson Hocevar, and they were right on his rear bumper. So they'll come out and run one lap on newer tires that might be enough to bridge the gap and get him in front of Carson Hocevar.
Well, you remember Carson got involved in that opening problem, as Carson's going to bring it to pit road here. He got involved with that early
locked the right front up a little bit. Tells me he had a great pit road entry.
Yeah, it's probably maximized there, but just remember, Brad, he might be a tire down. I think he put a left side tire on when he got mixed up on that lap 1 bump up.
So with Hocevar pitting, that gives the lead to William Byron. Frankie Muniz goes through the grass.
Lock it down.
That brings out
Oh, wow.
the caution.
What a huge break for some of these guys and a huge loss for a few others.
Well, it's a big break for Byron.
And Carson Hocevar. He'll cycle back in the lead with brand new tires.
Well,
Carson just now leaving pit road.
I'm not sure.
I don't think he won a lap down. We'll have to see how this all cycles here. I think he just beat William Byron to the line right there. You see William Byron and you see Carson Hocevar. The pit out line was down the front stretch here. That's going to trap a bunch of these good trucks a lap down. Corey Heim's going to be trapped. They're all going to have to take the wave around. Lane Riggs, Grant Enfinger. What a turn of events that was. We talked about it, crew chiefs deciding when to pit and how that could really affect the race.
And you talked about how running one more lap could have cost Carson Hocevar the lead of this race.
It saved him.
But instead,
it saved him.
But because the caution flag fell, the leader had to slow down, and that put Carson in a position to get out on the lead lap.
The 34 truck of Lane Riggs will get the free pass. So that tells me they are definitely, all the leaders that pitted there are trapped behind William Byron.
There you see the lead truck, the 07 of William Byron, hadn't been to pit road.
Showing now the top 15 on the lead lap. Lane Riggs will join them. Grant Enfinger in 17th.
Let's see if we can get a replay on what happened with Frankie Muniz. Caused this caution.
Was he trying to get to pit road?
You see him right here. This is Frankie.
Oh, no, he saw another truck trying to get to pit road.
Around. That looks like Connor Mozak.
He almost held on to her. Whoa, Gio Ruggiero had his eyes full of that 33 truck whipping around.
He gave it his all to save it. Goes down and hits that infield grass. And the caution flew. So this is interesting.
It's a good place for us, man. There's gonna be a lot go on under this caution.
I've seen this story before, Michael, recently.
So again, this should cycle Carson Hocevar to the lead when we're done. But we're gonna have a cycle of pit stops for those that didn't get as fortunate as Carson did. and they'll line up behind him with William Byron leading the way to pit road.
And there'll be some wave arounds as well. Pits are open.
Saw Alan Hart, the crew chief for the 07 of William Byron.
Wonder if William Byron can get the adjustment that he needs. You talked about getting the track position, not being able to keep it. He's going to have those fresh tires and an adjustment here. See if he can get what he needs to be competitive.
And here they come. They're coming your way, Amanda.
Yeah, William Byron has been struggling with a tight truck all night. He said he wants some of the same adjustments that they've already made here. William Byron is great on 1.5 miles in the truck series. He's picked up 4 wins of his 8 career wins in the truck series as he makes his way over to the box. But the luxury here is taking those 4 tires and getting back out for the rest of this race, guys.
Nice big adjustment there for the 07.
How good's that feel to look over at the wall and see those sticker tires, Brad, coming onto your truck?
And knowing you're going to leave pit road here, restarting on the front row. Oh, Stuart Friesen actually beats William Byron off of pit road. He'll join Carson Hocevar up front when we come back from yellow.
See Tanner Gray loses 1 spot, slips back to 4th off pit road. We will be back at Kansas Speedway. Stay with us.
The Gold Cup Race of Champions really define a sprint car driver's season. It's where you can make your most money. It's where you can really make a name for yourself.
You know, we'd won Gold Cup the year before, so it's always nice to come back to a race knowing that you're all capable of winning it.
Brad Sweet, he's won almost everything in the sport. It's amazing that he's never won this event.
Brad Sweet goes to the bottom, side by side for the race lead off of turn number 2. Oh, Brad Sweet's off the track and into the wall.
Those guys are so good. Dirt Episode 2 premieres May 13th at 10 Eastern on FS1. And personalities, it's a must-watch for sure. How about the sunset, guys?
Oh, beautiful time to be in Kansas.
It is that. I'm as happy as that kid eating that rib.
It's been one of those days, Michael. Beautiful. It's supposed to be the same tomorrow. Beautiful weather. And so we have the sun setting off turn 4. We also have the waxing gibbous moon. It's 96% full. Our stat guys are on it. They'll give you a stat for anything.
Not a full moon.
Look at this.
Record.
It's waxing. It's going to be 100% full on Monday, Brad.
I was going to say we're saving it for the Cup race.
You guys are going to have a big time tomorrow. Racing those Cup cars here at this track that finished a year ago. Holy cow, everything that happens at this track is just a highlight reel.
You know, this track over the last decade has just turned into such a great racetrack for NASCAR. The Cup Series, Truck Series, and Xfinity Series with some great finishes. I have a feeling we're going to see one of those here in just a few minutes with 33 laps to go here at Kansas in this truck race. Carson Hocevar on the bottom lane, William Byron on the top. It'll be really interesting to see here as well. William Byron, we saw them make those adjustments. We saw him fade on those last few runs. Did they get the adjustments to where he can keep up with Carson?
11 trucks waved around to get back on the lead lap. Here we go, Carson Hocevar, William Byron. Look at the big push by Stuart Friesen up front.
The scramble is on. Anytime you have a caution during green flag pit stops, you're going to get a big mix-up in the lineup, and we're seeing that right now.
Look at Ben Rhodes in the 99, running 5th right now. Told me earlier, after qualifying, truck was terrible. Said, we don't have the time, we're not allowed to even make the adjustments we need to make this truck better. It's so loose. And there he is, and he's still loose, but running at the front of the pack.
Stuart Friesen squeezing down on William Byron.
Big side drafts for that second position. They do not want to give it up.
Being told the restart is under review.
Byron not quite clear on Stuart Friesen. That was a big move right there. If he was able to clear him, he would have a shot at Carson Hocevar. Not able to clear him, he's going to have to settle back into 3rd.
And Corey Heim finds himself in the exact same position again, Brad, after that pit stop, going down the lap, having to wave around.
He's digging out of a hole here.
Digging out of a hole and using up those tires, while Carson Hocevar has smooth sailing right now with 30 laps to go.
What a run for that 52 truck. Stuart Friesen, Michael, we've talked about the 3-race stretch he's had. 24th, 29th, 27th. Sounded so dejected, like he was ready to throw in the towel on the series, Michael. Perhaps tonight it turns around.
You talked about the review of the restart.
Oh, wow.
Amy.
Corey Heim is going to get penalized here for restart violation.
Along with Tony Breidinger.
We'll see if we get a replay here and see exactly what happened with Corey Heim. Oh, there he is. He's going to jump outside here. You see him, he's high too early. You cannot jump a lane before the start-finish line. And just before the start-finish line, it looked like he might have jumped Grant Enfinger.
And that's so difficult to see as a driver. You're down in there in that truck behind all the other trucks, trying to anticipate where that start.
Oh, on these cameras, it looks really easy. So why'd you do that? Inside the truck and in-car cameras, really difficult to see. So he's going to have to pit for a pass-through penalty here. I assume they're probably arguing that, which is why he hasn't pitted right now, but pretty clear on the replay.
The black flag is being waved by our starter, so they have called the penalty.
All that work, all that effort he put into getting that track position, getting back up front. He will have to come down pit road. Let's listen to his radio.
The 5 got out of line. I was just following the 5. I don't understand that. Protested or something. I mean, that's bullshit. You can't have the guy get out of line if he follow him.
Well, it was called, and Corey Heim is now serving his penalty.
As a driver, Brad, do you understand what he's saying, or
yeah,
is it just pretty
you can't
black and
see
white?
very well, so you're following the trucks in front of you. He's saying a truck in front of him moved out of line, and he was just following it.
That's a penalty.
NASCAR's not seeing it the same way Corey is seeing it, obviously.
Now you just can't compound it by speeding on pit road when you're frustrated and mad. That's easy to do as well. So he's going to remain on the lead lap. I think pretty much his chances of winning are gone no matter what happens in this race, but he could still get a good finish with the caution. If a caution were to fly here, he's back up to speed ahead of the leaders.
Look at this battle for 4th. Ben Rhodes battling the rookie Gio Ruggiero. Meanwhile, Carson Hocevar leading this race. He'll be in the race tomorrow. On FS1, the NASCAR Cup Series heads right here to the heartland of America as the biggest stars in racing look to bring home a victory in Kansas. Coverage of the Advent Health 400 begins at 1:30 Eastern with the green flag flying at 3 o'clock. That's only on FS1. And happy that Brad Keselowski's joining us here in the booth. I know it wasn't a good day in qualifying for you, Brad, but on the flip side, Chris Buescher.
Oh, wreck off of turn 2.
The front row. Yes, we have 2 trucks around the 44. Bailey Curry just taps the wall. Connor Mozak goes around.
Bailey Curry got
left rear here once you get going.
Got sideways first. Mozak reacting
Tough
to
break
that.
for these two, running 8th and 10th. Big break, though, for Corey Heim. Puts him back in this race.
So 7th caution of the night. See there, 24 laps to go. Some damage.
That's the left rear. I got the left rear in the fence a little bit. Left rear tail.
This is racing up off turn 2. Oh, you could see already around was the 44 of Curry. The 81 of Mosak was slowing down, got hit from behind and spun around.
There's trying to avoid the 44 spinning out, and it looks like Chandler Smith got in the back of him. I'm sure Chandler couldn't see what was happening, you know.
It's wild off turn 2,
Happens
running
real
right
fast.
out next to that wall. This is happening
at full speed. That was a lot different at full speed.
Happening at 170 miles an hour. You could see that truck got loose. Like you said, Brad, now the 11 of Corey Heim is still in a hole.
See all the damage to the back of Connor Mosak from the contact there with Chandler Smith.
Let's listen to the 44 radio.
Talk to me here. Yeah, it just spun out. Just trying to run the top, got loose.
Yeah, but when you can do that, Jamie, at that speed and have minimal damage and be able to race on, you know, it's just refining your craft. We know these guys are just driving right on the edge of control. They're just giving it all they've got, especially this late in the race, and it just slipped with Bailey, and he'll learn from that and move on.
Bailey's not full-time in this truck, but gosh, we talk about him so often. He does such a nice job, and I give him an A for effort. That could have been entirely worse.
Yes. You know, when you're living on the edge, though, and that's what it has to do in these race cars. You know, race cars, race trucks, if there's margin, you're not driving it hard enough.
That's right.
You know, there should be zero margin, and sometimes you step over.
All right, so truckers taking a breath here. It'll be 22 laps to go at the line.
Setting ourselves up for a really big restart here.
A really wild restart.
Yes.
It's been wild tonight since lap number 1. Let's take a look back.
Yes.
Right at the start, you see it there. Our pole sitter, Jake Garcia, a little sideways, and then the contact going into turn 1.
A lot of good trucks in trouble right off the bat. Speaking of bats, he had to use one on his fender.
He gets penalized for intentionally bringing out the caution. Meanwhile, Corey Heim picks up stage 1.
Issues for William Byron, leaving his pit box. Issues for Frankie Muniz, losing a tire.
But Byron hasn't had any other issues that we know of. Seems to be full song.
Another issue on pit road with Corey Heim. This was a big change in the race. You see that the pit gun broke.
And then Carson Hocevar established himself as the favorite. And then a caution during pit stops, and things just got all jumbled up.
So Frankie Muniz goes around, and this is the latest incident that brought out the 7th caution of the night. Connor Mosak, Bailey Curry.
That was synchronized spinning, wasn't it?
It sure was.
The highlight reel producers here in our booth, I think, deserve a little overtime pay.
That's right. It's
There
busy.
has been a lot to show and talk about here today. No shortage of action.
What about that truck in 3rd place? We've talked, Jamie, about the struggles of Stuart Friesen. He's, I think he would take a 3rd and get out of here. But you know what? He's going to drive it like he stole it. He's not going to, you won't know he would take 3rd right now. He's going to try to win this race.
What's going to be really interesting to me, and what I'll be looking for on the restart when we go back green here in the next few laps, is the restarter in the 4th position. They are probably going to be the ones that dictate what happens on this restart. If they get a good launch, and Michael, if they're able to keep the 2nd place truck in that outside lane with good momentum by giving them a push, the outside lane will have a significant advantage here and might be able to defeat Carson Hocevar if he picks the bottom lane. If they don't, Carson Hocevar is most likely going to just drive off on this restart.
Well, Willie B will be on the outside of the front row, and it looks like Gio Ruggiero will be behind Willie. Ben Rhodes taking the bottom, several trucks taking the top. You see pretty much 50-50, but more guys going to the top.
William Byron will restart on the front row. Amanda.
I am told that Connor Zilic is watching along as this 07 has a shot here as we wind down these laps here at Kansas Speedway. I was told that he sat next to Larry Mack on the way out here on the plane, and Larry told me that on one side of the table he had a laptop watching video from this race prior last year, and he had the other side looking at some SMT data. Just talked to his team asking for comparative lap times between him and Carson Hocevar. Not surprised to hear it, Josh.
Well, Stuart Friesen battled his way up to the third position during that last run. It's been a tough day for him during practice. He said that truck was not good. The good thing about it, though, he said they were on the both sides of their balance, so they were too tight at one point, too loose at one point. They knew in race where they needed to be to get this truck in position. Came over the radio just a little while ago, said the balance is finally neutral. They might have something to contend for a win during this last run, guys.
I like hearing that. For Stuart Friesen, did you see that? 68 races since his last win. You think he's a little hungry?
Very hungry. We know Stuart's on the gas.
What about that bright yellow truck on the row 4 there? Matt Crafton has battled himself into a position in the top 10.
Here's what I'm watching, guys. We're watching right here, that 4th place guy. That's going to dictate this restart. If he can stay tight to William Byron, it's going to be very difficult for Carson Hocevar.
Leaders cross the line. That means we've reached our Craftsman. 20 to go.
Here comes the push.
Look how close this restart is. Gio Ruggiero right up the middle.
And the push works. William Byron is going to get to the outside of Carson Hocevar.
Now can Tanner Gray close the ground and give another push? To
Big run coming.
No push.
Oh, wow. He's going to try to clamp down on Carson. But William Byron is still there.
Tanner Gray lost all that momentum. He slides back. His teammate Gio Ruggiero gets around him, picks up the 3rd spot. Battle up front. Carson Hocevar hangs on to it. William Byron, the 2016 winner here, trying to hang on for his 2nd win at Kansas.
Williams' truck just doesn't quite look as good as Carson's truck. Carson's truck able to carry that run down into 3 and 4 and just barely clear him off of turn 4. That was a big, big moment for him to seal his position in the lead.
Look at this battle. Tanner Gray going for it again. Look at this battle between teammates.
What about Dawson Sutton making himself known in the top 5?
He had a penalty earlier, Michael.
2-lap penalty.
A 2-lap
yes.
penalty, and now here he is, the rookie running up in the top 5. He and Gio Ruggiero, both rookies in the series.
Wow, did you see how fast Lane Riggs went through the center of that corner?
Rolling the bottom.
Wow, he sustained it 2 off and is able to close right up on the 17 truck.
And that goes back in the fact that, look at the lights are on. It's getting darker outside. That bottom lane's getting faster.
William Byron is using every trick he has in his book to try to close in as Corey Heim works his way through the field.
Back into the top 10 after that big penalty we saw right before this yellow.
The pass-through penalty, and here he is, Corey Heim doing Corey Heim things. 11th right now.
You got to think for Corey Heim, if he's able to get a top 10 out of a day where nothing seems to want to go his way, that would be a good win for him.
Another guy that needs a top 10 is Brandon Jones in that one truck. He's had a tough 2025 in the truck series. He's got a good run going.
3-wide battle for 9th.
Let's go ahead and call it 4.
Corey Heim says, excuse me, coming
He's going to
through.
get all of them in one move.
Corey Heim, unbelievable. Up to 9th, just like that.
Whoa, Brandon Jones, you see the arrow effect right there. He got right behind Corey Heim, lost the front end, had to lift.
You know, last week, Carson Hocevar jumped in the truck for the first time this season. And then on Sunday, what did he do? He started on pole for the first time in his Cup career. Now here he is leading this race, looking to bring home another Truck Series win.
William Byron staying with him just a little bit better now.
Yeah, and also Lane Riggs is 4th. You see just behind these two, and Lane has closed right in on Tanner Gray.
And he's been pretty fast. Remember, he got caught a lap down.
Oh,
he's pushing it hard, isn't he? Might go right up to the wall for turn 4. But Lane Riggs got caught a lap down in that green flag pit cycle where we had the yellow. He's clawed his way back out of that here in the top 4.
You can see just ahead of these two, the battle for the lead is really tightening up. Carson Hocevar's got it. William Byron wants it.
Down to a 1/4 second.
Carson Hocevar has now led the most laps of the race, 61 and counting, as Corey Heim picks up another one, moves into 8th around Bend Roads.
Looks like he might get Sutton as well here off of turn 4.
Wow, what a turn. He's able just to pin that thing on that white line.
Truck's a rocket for sure.
I'm really impressed with that 26 driver, Dawson Sutton. doing a really nice job. He did race here last year. Michael finished in the top 5. Now he gets to come back to a track for the second time, and he's doing big things.
There's a lot of big things happening up front. I think Lane Riggs is the fastest truck on the track. He's just got to get past.
What's that last lap?
Just got to get past Tanner Gray to go up there and heat up the leaders. He's going to do it here.
And he does it. Lane Riggs to 3rd.
And despite running side by side for 3rd, still a really fast lap time for the 34. He loves what he's doing right now.
Stuart Friesen slipped back a little bit to 6th. He's got a mirror full of Corey Heim.
You can see he's got a windshield full of Gio Ruggiero too, so really tight battling in the top 5.
It's a Tricon Garage sandwich, and he's the meat in the middle. Stuart Friesen hanging on.
Making a move. Just can't quite roll the bottom of 1 and 2 as fast as he needs to get Gio.
Corey Heim sizing this up. He'll go to the bottom. We've seen how fast. Oh, he fakes to the bottom. Takes it to the top.
Stewart's going to try to slide up right in front of him.
Right down to the grass on the front straightaway, trying to do anything he can to get position on Friesen.
But the draft was too strong there. Even though he had that little extra speed, then Stewart, you could see where his truck stalled out. Couldn't keep that run coming on to Stuart Friesen.
10 laps to go here at Kansas Speedway. Carson Hocevar with a 1-second lead over his teammate William Byron. Lane Riggs is digging, closing that gap behind William Byron.
Digging is right, JB. He is doing everything he can to close on these leaders.
0.3 of a second faster than William Byron. That last lap was Lane Riggs. He's running out of time, though. It's going to be 8 to go this time by.
Another guy that's running out of time is Corey Heim. Battles back into the top 10, but not going to be enough. What another fast truck was at 11 tonight.
These are the races that really sting. You know, when you have really fast trucks and, you know, have a little bit of a bad break, but also have a little mistake to go with that. And, what could have been? It's one of those nights for Corey Heim.
He's had 3 or 4 stingers this year. As dominant as he's been, he could have very well won twice as many races, but
big slide job. Wow. Lane Riggs said, I'm taking this position.
Let's see what we can do with.
And he was 0.2 faster than the leader that last lap. Lane Riggs was. So he's got a long ways to catch the leader, but he's got some speed too.
Well, now he's gotten rid of William Byron, and that was 0.2 faster dealing with him. So let's see what happens here. This is getting good.
See him roll on the top, just really pushing this truck hard.
Look at that, right out to the outside wall. What a display of his truck control and talent right now.
So back in 2022, Carson Hocevar was in this position, leading at the end of the race. Ran out of fuel on the last lap. John Hunter Nemechek went on to win it, and Hocevar finished 2nd. I don't think fuel is an issue now, so setting sail as the laps tick down. Carson Hocevar looking for his 5th Truck Series win and his 1st since 2023.
Well, if Lane can get there, remember, he was not too happy with the mirror driving Cup driver that he called Carson Hocevar. So
he did gain 1/10 of a second that last lap.
Top. Running bottom 3 and 4 right now. No gain there.
So you hear the spotter for Carson Hocevar, trying to let him know what's going on around him.
Riggs is slowly shrinking that gap.
Got a slow truck.
That last lap, 0.3 of a second faster.
He was 4th. That's the 15 truck. Guys, we were just talking about Tanner Gray.
What a great night it's been, but now that's out the window.
He's almost at his stop just before the entrance to pit road. Do we stay green here?
NASCAR's going to have a tough decision to make.
He is limping his way. There he is, just inside turn number 4.
I don't think this will cost you the yellow.
Stay low here, stay against the grass.
He's got to get on pit road and even maybe duck into that an opening there. As you see, Lane Riggs continues to try to track down Carson Hocevar right out next to the outside wall. This is a big turn for him. Look at the ground he's gaining.
Just
wow,
1
right to
second
the
back
wall.
now. Look at this battle up front.
That was a beautiful executed turns 3 and 4. It's put him right where he wants to be.
0.5 of a second faster that last lap. Look at this. He looks like Kyle Larson up there.
He does. Doing Kyle Larson things is Lane Riggs.
Oh, he's
there
in the
he
wall.
goes.
But he's still digging. Gosh, you gotta love that about Lane. He is just on the gas.
Second time tonight we saw him touch that outside wall, but he's not giving up. Look at this gap just shrinking 0.4 of a second behind Carson Hocevar.
With 2 to go this time.
There's battles all over this track still. See Hemrick trying to force his way in there, but I'm interested in this 34 truck.
There he is, up against the wall, really tight.
But he made it
you
work
see
that
the gap
time.
shrinking. Lap trucks in front of him.
He's going to put it on the outside wall again.
I think this is where he needs to be. Look at the, yes, this is where he needs to be. Look at the pace. He's going to have a run down the front stretch here, Michael. Carson's going to have to block him.
White flag is in the air.
Get to the outside, Lane.
Last lap at Kansas Speedway. Lane Riggs wants it. Carson Hocevar's been hanging on to it.
Oh, it's going to get tight off of the corner. Oh, he turns them.
Contact. They're both in the outside wall.
They
still
both save
digging.
it.
They're still digging.
Wow.
William
Last
Byron.
lap. Through turn 3. Lane Riggs on the gas. Can Carson Hocevar hang on? They were both in the wall, and here they go. Checkered flag is in the air. Carson Hocevar wins it at Kansas Speedway.
Yeah! Thank you. Thank you. God, it's been so long. Thank you. Thank you, Maddie. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Pit Crew. Thank you, Delaware Life. Everybody. Thank you.
Wow, my heart's racing. What a finish.
I mean, I loved our view of this thing, but what about William Byron? He was watching those two.
Oh,
races.
he said, please.
He had the best seat in the house.
How did they both keep it straight?
Wow, Carson Hocevar with a great drive there. You can tell the pace was falling off at the end. And he held on to it there despite the contact.
And that job that Lane Riggs did, running an inch off the wall and just throwing it all out there, that was an amazing drive for this young racer.
Yeah, he put it up against the wall in 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and got that big run. Almost had Carson there.
That one's going to hurt for Lane, isn't it? Just
yes,
being
it
that
is.
close, he could taste it.
The 22-year-old from Portage, Michigan. Carson Hocevar finds his way back to victory lane. He was in the Truck Series full-time, got picked up. Spire Motorsports moved up to the Cup Series last year. Now he's just coming back to have fun.
This looks like fun. 5th win in this series.
He's here for the wins, Brad. Nothing else matters. Don't have to worry about those points. There he is, all 6'6" of them.
6'8", whatever he is.
He's a tall one. Certainly the tallest driver in the field.
Spire Motorsports has now won 3 races with Cup Series drivers in their trucks.
They've got 2 all-star trucks, the 07 and the 7, and they battled till the end. William Byron in the 07 finished 3rd. There's Lane Riggs, finished 2nd again at Kansas. What an effort.
What a run. What a drive that young man put on him.
I think the fans like what they saw tonight.
I'm glad you said your heart was racing, because mine is too.
Yes, wow, what a battle.
Fun.
I want to hear what Carson has to say about this.
Look at Carson Hocevar, no sweat on him. He is the winner, and he's with our Amanda Busick.
No sweat, but I think you can see that massive smile from Carson Hocevar as he excites the crowd here at Kansas Speedway. And man, I would love to know what was going through your mind as Lane Riggs was chasing you down. You guys contacted there on that last lap. How did you save that, Carson?
I just thought I'd make it entertaining. Were you all entertained? No, it's yeah, that 34 truck was super good. Yeah, this truck was really good on the short runs, and I didn't think he would get to us for how far back he was, but he was super good. And yeah, it's been a while since I've been in like a finish like that where it's just all out there, so credits to him. I know he was going for everything there. I'm shocked. I thought it threw it away, and it doesn't look that bad, but I figured I'd kill it right here.
I did hear your team tell you to save that engine, that they got to use it, but I want to go back to the beginning of the race. You guys had to come down on pit road very early there to protect the right rear end, the tire. What's the importance of maintaining composure in those moments?
I knowing that it's not a season, right? Knowing that I get only 4 shots at this, right? It's it's win or bust. So just taking care of it is most important, right? If that left rear blew, we just feel really stupid if it takes us out of it. So big thanks to, first off, out East, Cody Efall for giving me the opportunity of making that phone call. Mom and Dad, I love you. My grandma passed away a few years ago, so Grandpa, this is for you. Yeah, it's super, super cool. Thank you so much, Jeff Dickerson. I got to drive the 7 car one time, and that changed my life. And it looks pretty good when we get to drive the 7 a little bit more often.
In front of this crowd on their feet, Carson Hocevar, your winner here in Kansas.
Lane Riggs ties the season best with a 2nd place finish. Man, you were ripping it towards the end, ripping up by the wall. Got to Carson Hocevar, but couldn't get around him, made some contact. What more could you have done?
Man, I gave it my all. We were really down bad with the track position there, and about midway through the 3rd stage, and we were about to take the lead, and we did the green flag pit stop. That really hurt us, and had to come from 16th all the way into that green flag run and get all the way back to him. But, yeah, last lap, I got to him, got into him a little bit. We both hit the wall. He won the race, and, I think he was mad at me. I think he flipped me off all the way down the front stretch coming to the checker, but how can you be mad when you win the race, right? But it's all good. It's great to race with them Cup guys, and I think that just proves that I'm going to be there one day.
2nd place finish for Lane Riggs.
I love that. And I agree with him, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I love the lane he ran. He earned his way up to the front. Both these drivers put on a great display.
A nice kiss right on the camera lens. That is one happy driver. I love what he said. He got that shot to drive the 7 car. Jeff Dickerson inspiring, it changed his life. And here he is on top of the board. Carson Hocevar gets the win. Lane Riggs 2nd. William Byron, Corey Heim. After the adversity, he comes back and salvages a top 5.
4. Impressive.
Yeah, there you see Jake Garcia, our pole sitter, top 10 finish. Good run for him.
Ty Majeski with a nice rebound. Disastrous start to the race. Pulls out a top 15. That was a hard-fought day.
Tony Breidinger with a competitive run. She finishes up in the 21st position.
Tanner Gray, heartbreaker there at the end. Some kind of mechanical issue.
Let's hear from William Byron, Josh.
Well, a hard-fought day for William Byron. Comes home 3rd. I know you wanted to be up with the 34 and the 7, fighting for the win towards the end of that race. What more did you need in the truck?
For us, we could go okay for like 10 to 15, and I would just build really tight all throughout the day. So I felt like I had a chance there, after the restart. I felt like my stuff refired pretty good, and I was able to run some different lanes, but then I just started to lose the front tires and struggle. But there at the end, I just kind of put it on the fence, and it felt like I was making some ground back up, maybe a little bit, but was just hoping they would crash. So, but they didn't. So it was exciting for my seat for sure, and just appreciate these guys letting me come do it. HendrickCars.com, obviously, Chevrolet, Spire, all their guys. It was fun. I enjoyed it. The truck drives a lot different, which was kind of fun to slide it around, and can't do much of that tomorrow. So just gotta kind of reacclimate tomorrow, but just excited for tomorrow as well.
And William Byron will have a chance to try and get a win in the Cup race out here tomorrow, Amanda.
Yeah, Josh, I was just talking to Corey Heim about his 4th place finish after everything that he battled today, and he was like, I would rather be 1st. How painful are these, Corey?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, like you said, for all the adversity we had today, finishing 4th is a good day, I guess. If you told me I was going to finish 4th with like 25 to go, coming from 25th, 21st, whatever it was at the end there, that'd be a pretty good ending, I guess, or last little stretch. But yeah, just obviously the penalty on my part at the end kind of took us out of it. It was really hard to judge which lane to follow there. I didn't know if the lane was moving up or down, and made the wrong call on my part and got penalized for it. So among coming from the back, 2 other times. So regardless of that, just really proud of Truck on Garage, Safe Light Toyota. This Foster Love Blue truck was awesome today. Just needed to, I guess, just execute better all around. These truck races are so short that if you have one thing go wrong late, it's pretty much over for us. So all in all, a decent day for points and everything. Just got to execute better at the end on my part.
tough watching Carson celebrate behind you?
It's all right. We get to racing tomorrow, so we'll be fine.
That's a great point. I was just going to say that Corey Heim will race in the Cup Series race tomorrow. He'll compete against that man right there, Carson Hocevar, who parks it in victory lane. And they'll be battling the guy standing to my left, Brad Keselowski. So I like what what we're setting up here. Carson Hocevar was in the booth for the ARCA race last night. He goes to victory lane here. You're in the booth with us. Perhaps victory lane is on your horizon.
And Joey
tomorrow.
Logano was in the booth last week.
And went to victory lane on Sunday.
So we have a great car for tomorrow. I'm excited. Not qualifying very well, but the racing I think will be great. So ready for a big race tomorrow. Mother's Day weekend.
Yes.
Beautiful weather. What more can you ask for?
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. It's a special, special weekend, and we'll be here at the racetrack putting on a great race for all you moms.
I just love this weekend. I love this racetrack. The action we saw, we told you how good it was going to be, and it certainly didn't disappoint. What a battle all the way to the checkered we had tonight.
Lived up to it. I mean, the battles every restart, and then the battle at the end. Lane Riggs going toe-to-toe with Carson Hocevar. That's as good as it gets in NASCAR racing.
So good. Look at the smile. Has not left Carson Hocevar's face. Plenty more action still to come. Race day tomorrow, followed by the Truck Series or the Cup Series race. The Advent Health 400 at 1:30 Eastern. Coming up next, it's the Indy Grand Prix. For all of us here at Fox Sports, thanks so much and congratulations, Carson Hocevar.
Down, down, down. Your nerves and black and blues. Well, dance, smile. Oh, it's just a missing tooth. 'Cause you believe, hey, hey. I'm leaning back on you. Yeah, hey. Can't face on, I don't fake that. I intimidate, eliminate competition like a dinner plate. I'm what makes a winner great. I invigorate. You buckle down and disintegrate. You feel me? Coming through with that weak sauce. You weak boss, don't wanna take a week off. I stand tall and confident. You ain't hot as me. You don't stand at all. You a mockery. I am on the rise. I was told only the strong survive. The difference between y'all and I. Without wings, I was born to fly. Get your game face on. Get your game face on. Get your game face on. 'Cause I'm coming to play, boy.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.